Let's continue with basketball now. The Warriors and Grizz series going on tonight in Memphis. The Warriors are minus 175 on the money line. The Grizz are plus 145. Warriors laying 4.5 points, total set at 218.5. It's a 9:30 start in the East. This spread opened with the Warriors laying 3.5 points, so we've seen money come in on Golden State. But the huge story is that Ja Morant will not play. In fact, his playoff return is, quote, doubtful. And he suffered that injury in the fourth quarter in Game 3 when he got knotted up with Jordan Poole. Looked like he landed on that knee awkwardly, and then Jordan Poole brushed his hand across it. So you can debate as to whether or not Jordan Poole was responsible or not for Morant's knee injury. But regardless, the Grizzlies are going to have to do what they've done for much of the season, which is try and win a game without Morant in the lineup. They've been mostly successful, but this is different because it's the playoffs and it's the Warriors.
This seems way too obvious here. Don't you take the Warriors minus 4.5? It looks to me as if you look at the box score from last game, the fact that the Warriors started 1 of 15 from the three-point line and still found a way to win this one, that has to be a gut punch for the Grizzlies. And I think we just talk about this so many times, is the ability to close out games. And the Grizzlies should have had this game. They were up for most of the game. And the Warriors played an absolutely terrible game and still won. So if you think that the Warriors revert back to a good shooting team, which I think they probably will, that I think this should be an easy win. Jenks, what am I not seeing here?
What you're not seeing is a couple things. One, that I know you've heard this stat a million times, but the Grizz are 20-6 this year, straight up without Ja Morant. They're 18-8 against the number. But the other thing I think that is most fascinating to me is that as great as Ja is, and he leads the NBA in clutch time scoring this postseason, he has 42 points. He has upped his scoring average across the board. So he is definitely the best player on that Grizz roster. Nobody debates that. However, he's not their best defender. And you can make a legitimate argument that when Ja Morant is not in the game, the Grizzlies are a better defensive team. And because of that, maybe that slows down the Warriors somewhat because Klay Thompson, as we talked about yesterday, has not been the consistent Klay Thompson that we've seen for most of his career. I think that Grizzlies defense can give Golden State more trouble than people anticipate. I'm going to be on Memphis tonight.
What? No,
yeah, I really am.
You see that stat for the Grizzlies and, they're 20-6 this year without Ja Morant. Yeah, not against the Warriors, not against a completely healthy Warriors team in the postseason. When we're talking about postseason games, it is totally different than the regular season. And obviously that stat speaks to the depth of the Grizzlies. But if you actually watch them play, half the time it's not smart basketball. They are making mindless mistakes. They're turning the ball over, and it's just a bad match when you're going against a veteran squad and the Warriors. So for me, it's all about the Warriors. They played a terrible game last time out against the Grizzlies, still won. So if they even play a little bit better, I think this is an easy win.
You could say the same thing about the Grizzlies. You talk about how in one breath you're saying the Grizzlies played a terrible game, and then you're also saying, the Warriors. Well, yeah, but the Warriors played a terrible. You said the Grizz are not playing good.
They shot bad. That's something that's correctable. Like when you have a bad shooting night, sometimes that happens in basketball. When you play mindless basketball and you play like a young team, that is a pattern that is a lot harder to fix than just a cold shooting night.
I don't think you can say the Grizz are playing mindless basketball when they led for all but 45 seconds of that game. They were going to win this game. The Golden State Warriors did not pull ahead in Game 4 of this series until 45 seconds left in that game. So maybe it's mindless basketball, but they can improve from that. If you're playing mindless basketball on the road, Ja Morant's out of the game, and you still manage to lead the Warriors with less than a minute to go in the game, I think the Memphis Grizzlies can improve. I'm taking the points tonight.
Yeah, because once again, the Warriors started 1 of 15 from the three-point line. That was a huge hole to climb out of. So for me, it's all about finishing games. This is the postseason. It's way different than the regular season. Things start to get tighter. You've got to hold on to the ball a little bit tighter. You've got to run the right plays in the final seconds of this game. So I think if it's even close, my money's on the Warriors to close it out because they've been there. They've done it. They're the smarter team.
They might be, but I think this line is an absolute trap. Jaren Jackson Dylan Brooks both shot terribly in that game. They could improve there. And also, if you're the Warriors, we give Golden State a little too much credit, and they're a publicly bet team because they are the Warriors, and they're going to win this series. But their cold shooting in game 4 was not the first time they've gone cold in this series. Back in game 2 in Memphis, they shot 18% from deep. So this is not a Warriors team that has been shooting great from deep all series long and had one cold game. They've gone cold from deep in a couple of games in this series, one particularly in Memphis. And again, Klay Thompson, we talked to David Thorpe yesterday. He said he's just not quite the same player. It's going to take him a while to fully recover from those 2 years out. So I'm going to let the public come in on the Warriors. I think we might even see this line get up to maybe 5, but I'm going to grab the points and the Grizz, and I think they surprise everyone tonight. So we're going to be on opposite ends here, Chelsa.
Yeah, have fun sweating that out while the Grizzlies turn the ball over in the final 5 minutes of the game. Well, I'll be sitting pretty with my Warriors dub, along with all the 12-year-old Steph Curry fans across the nation.
You can do that. And then you can say, why is Klay Thompson going 1 of 45 from deep? Jinx told me this was going to happen. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to light a cigar inside. I'm going to be celebrating inside. That's what a jerk I'm going to be later on this evening.